Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our panel, Shopping Through a New Lens. I hope you all enjoyed the Snapchat Partner Summit session, and we've got a really compelling follow-up panel today. I'm Luke Callis, the VP of Advertiser Solutions at Snap Inc., and I'd like to turn it over to each of the panelists to introduce themselves now.
Hi there, Courtney Faggio-Biro. I am the Vice President of Growth Marketing at Zenni Optical.
Hi Luke, hi everybody. My name's Gareth and I'm the Global CMO at a fashion business called Farfetch.
Hello, and I'm Damon Burrell, Head of Marketing for North America at the Estee Lauder Companies.
Welcome everybody, thanks again for joining me. Before we get into this compelling conversation, why don't we show everybody what the future of commerce looks like. Welcome back. Well, at Snapchat, we pride ourselves on being a camera company. And we've been constantly reinventing the camera company since our inception. And we fundamentally believe that augmented reality is a stepping stone and a differentiator in our platform. But most important, an important tenet of the future of shopping. Every single day, over 200 million Snapchatters use augmented reality. So it's become a learned and consistent behavior. With that being said, I wanted to ask each of you, what was the turning point for you and your company in determining a camera strategy was a necessary component to your larger marketing strategy?
I'm happy to start.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Courtney.
Sure. So just to level set with everybody, Zenni Optical is in the eyewear category, and the eyewear category is predominantly brick and mortar focused. So online share only makes up about 13% of that total market. So for us as an e-commerce business, it was critical for us to try to overcome that hurdle of buying online and being able to actually see what the product looks like on your face. So it's been part of the evolution of our business and our brand, launching a 2D virtual try-on, eventually a 3D virtual try-on on our site. And then now with the recent partnership with Snapchat as well, and being able to engage in a very fun way with the product, with the background, with people engaging naturally on that platform, it has really elevated our business and the ability to connect with customers and have them try on a product in a way that is very natural to where they're already engaging on a platform for content.
That's wonderful. And how about you, Gareth?
Well, I don't want to be deliberately provocative, the first thing that comes out of my mouth, but we haven't got a camera strategy per se. What we have at Farfetch is a view about how the customer experience is going to sort of evolve over the next few years. And we think today about what that shopping experience might be in 5 years' time. And I think, unlike Courtney, we are principally a digital business. We do have some shops, but that vision for the future, which we call luxury new retail, is very much around a conflation between online and offline, and how experiences increasingly are going to sort of seamlessly integrate all of that together through the customer journey. Now, in that context, what we do with the camera and what we do with things like virtual try-on is critically important, because very similar to Snap, we've got a young demographic audience. 73% of our audience are Gen Z or millennials, and in China it's even higher. And so they're engaging with the camera on Snap all the time. And so a big area of our focus more recently has been virtual try-on. And if you go to the website today, you'll see a VTO experience with a fine luxury brand called Chopard. And you can virtually try on 43, 44,000 pound watches. And we've had, over the last 12 months, people buying that type of assortment and that type of product without ever actually physically trying it on.
Wow, the scale of that is tremendous. Thanks for sharing that. And please, just to level set, please be as provocative as you want, Gareth. We love that. Damon, how about Esty? Can you speak a little bit to that, please?
Sure. So the turning point for us needing the camera strategy was when it became clear that the Snap platform is successful at reaching our audience and offered a way for us to deliver high-touch engagement and experiences. And given, Snap opens to the camera, we needed to prioritize the need to have a camera-first strategy. Now, given that it allows us to create a frictionless, touchless engagement, that in itself does a couple things for us. It bridges any gap between our consumers needing to try on and experiencing our products both in store and out of store. It helps us enable trial and consideration for purchases. It supports ongoing tutorial experiences once our customers, have purchased. And even when you think about the world lens translated into a virtual store, that enables consumers to step into an experience. So that even bridges the gap on discovery and virtual trial as well as education. So all in all, for us, we really see these products continuing to grow importance in our overall marketing strategy.
Yeah, I love what you all just said there, and I'd love to unpack it a little bit further. The pandemic obviously changed a lot of behaviors for everybody. And what we've seen is physical stores have been more limited. The Snapchat generation is 3 times more likely than non-Snapchatters to say they're using AR try-on. So what is the unique role that Snapchat plays in your channel mix? And can you share how our role has evolved over the past year, given the AR try-on you were all just alluding to? I'll go to Gareth this time.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. So I've been working with Snap for about 6 or 7 years now, and I can vividly remember Claire Valetti said to me, I don't know if I was at Compare the Market or maybe eBay, but she said, your relationship with Snap should be an evergreen, always on investment. And at the time, I sort of looked at her a little bit skeptically. But at Farfetch, that is now a reality. So if I think about all of the activity we do with Snap across the funnel, we have an always-on evergreen investment, top of the funnel, mid-funnel, and at the bottom end of the funnel, and especially in terms of app install activity as well. Now, what we've done more recently is we've sort of complemented that sort of transactional focus, I suppose, with a series of AR experiences, because I do think that the quality of that delivery through Snap has now attained a very, very high sort of exemplary standard, I suppose, which is in the world of luxury fashion. Consumers have got very, very high standards, which we've got to continually deliver on. So, and I do think that Snap performs very strongly for us in certain regions. I think about the Middle East. So there's a very unique, arguably unduplicated audience in places like Saudi, with a very young sort of demographic penetration. And so we've sort of over the last couple of years with Snap at Farfetch, as your product portfolio has evolved, we've sort of tested our way into that. And I think the other thing is that Snap's fun. It's about self-expression. I think Courtney was talking about this. It's sort of happy, and it's a joyful place as well. And so that's a very, very close mimic of the world of luxury fashion. And so there's a very nice synergy in terms of that sort of experience that our customers get on the Snap platform. And then we have started to do a lot more with AR. The latest development, which I think has been announced earlier, is with Off-White, where we've got a voice-activated sort of virtual try-on for clothes, which has been very, very difficult to get that technology right up until now.
Yeah, I think the evolution of the platform and the technology in general is just going to continue to open doors. And I really respect and appreciate that you leaned into the joy as a differentiator. We see that 90% of the people on the platform say that Snapchat brings them joy in a world that's gotten extremely complex. As we've all been experiencing, it's nice to go to a place where you can feel good about yourself and brands can get a halo effect from that. Damon, I would kick it over to you and ask the same question. How has our role evolved over the past year for AR Try-On?
So for us, we think Snap has a unique audience with Gen Z and millennials from a reach perspective that other social platforms don't, and that allows us to capture a large portion of that group. So Snap certainly serves as an important role within our overall mix, and specifically within social, serving as a full funnel partner. I'll say that we actually started testing Snap as an awareness tactic, but then as we started testing single lenses throughout the funnel, we actually saw great results. And with multi-product lenses, we see 2.5 times higher purchase intent, as well as higher click-through rates and ROAS. So as such, we've leaned a lot more into Snap and AR throughout the last year. We've expanded our organic presence with brand profiles more so than we had previously, to bring the high touch experience to consumers in a seamless capacity. Like I mentioned earlier, we started with Tom Ford Rose Pick last May to experience the fragrance. And since then, we've rolled this out with La Mer, Estee Lauder, MAC, Clinique, and more brands to follow. So we really see the role of AR as being a connected experience in store, bridging the gap of physical and virtual, but most importantly, Luke, really helping us drive our business and experiences.
Yeah, I appreciate that and love to hear that, because I think when we look at our overall business, over 50% of Snapchat's business is now direct response. And I think if the platform can't help drive business results, then what is any platform actually doing as a partner? So that's been an important shift in that. And I want to kind of lean into that a little bit more, Courtney. We see that a lot of people used to think that it was the top of the funnel for AR, and now, to Damon's point, we're driving a lot of lower funnel results. In fact, we see that lenses result in a 67% higher lift in action intent than those without lenses. How important for you is it for you to see lower funnel results of a part of your campaign?
Yeah, and I was nodding along with Farfetch and Estee Lauder with everything they were saying too, which was amazing. And I started thinking through, we went into this initially thinking it might be a higher funnel tactic. So we were very prepared for that, but we're a digitally native brand. Our channels are extremely dialed. If you talk to our Snapchat team, we have very high expectations of when we bring in new platforms or new partners, what they're gonna do for us. We understand that every different platform and publisher serves a different purpose in the funnel, but it doesn't change that we have very effective, very aggressive targets across the board. So we worked very closely with our Snapchat team to determine what we wanted those benchmarks to be. Our return on ad spend targets we had set were pretty aggressive for what you would normally consider a higher or mid-funnel tactic. And happily, we were able to exceed those targets by 40% for return on ad spend, which was phenomenal. It blew me out of the water and was extremely happy about that. But then we also looked at other ways that we wanted to engage as well. We knew that it was a younger demographic. It was reaching a new audience, similar to what everyone has said already. And it was also slightly less crowded of a platform too, which lent itself to lower CPMs in a very approachable way to engage that audience. So for us, having that type of a program where we could look at ways that people share content, we had share benchmarks as well, exceeded those as well, saved filters as well, exceeded those. So every single thing that we set, whether it was low, mid, or high funnel, it exceeded those tactics and exceeded those benchmarks. So I would just say all around very impressed. I went in skeptical, to be honest, and I am now a true believer.
That's great. I appreciate you sharing that. And Damon, I come back to you sort of in the same vein as when you think about trial in the beauty industry. It's an experience that's truly custom for every shopper. Like, how have you been able to build an array of trial experiences that allow for both a custom and inclusive engagement with your brands?
Well, look, I'll first start by saying, as an organization, we take great pride in launching both new and maintaining great hero products that are all designed with high performance product benefits and ingredients. They're all based on multifaceted consumer needs in makeup, skincare, needs in other categories. And we know once a consumer tries our product, we have an extraordinary repeat purchase rate. So the point is, trial is important. And what is just as important as our products is the array of trial experiences we offer in our stores, online, and in AR. We've mastered the trial experience in store with our makeup artists, beauty advisors, and beauty consultants. We've mastered trial experience on our sites with live chats, virtual selling. So now we also want to, we want to master the experience leveraging AR. As such, we are heavily leaning into our organic and paid presence on Snap. We're leveraging sampling-based opportunities to increase trial to purchase. We were a launch partner for the organic beta. Thank you, Snap team. With Too Faced Cosmetics virtual try-on for the Born This Way palette, which was a scan to AR tutorial lens. We saw extremely high engagement with young consumers. I believe it was the #1 lens or the #1 engagement profile, or both. We're continuing to test Shade Match and Shade Finder for lip and eye. Our partners in the UK, they did a foundation shade match for double wear, which we hope to extend in the US as well quickly. And also, as shown in the presentation from MAC, we're creating a customized shopping product that allows for the consumer to try on multiple shades of the same product and ultimately purchase right from their face, which we think brings the value of trial and customization to the forefront, since the consumer is not limited to one shade. And then, they have access to all shades we have available for that product.
I love that. I mean, you think about the scale that can come behind the opportunity to test with everything. And we see on the platform, 87% of Snapchatters prefer virtual try-on. And just to clarify, you were indeed #1. So that is true, and congrats. I mean, you did an incredible job with your profile. As we just all saw in the partner summit, we had a bevy of wonderful announcements. We're really exciting to roll out to our advertising partners. And a lot of it is around AR innovation and shopping behaviors. Damon, we are excited to roll out our Perfect Corp partnership with you. Is this a game changer for scaling lens development for brands?
Absolutely, Luke. I mean, being able to integrate our full color catalog for lip and eye for our key brands, that really is a huge opportunity for us. We're excited for the partnership as a whole. We're excited for the extension into new areas such as foundation and hair color. We think this partnership will definitely increase our ever-present lens on our brand profiles because of the increase in scale. And as mentioned before, we see this as a way to increase trial, since more shades and options will be available for trial, right? So yes, this is a massive unlock for scaling lens development for us.
That's great. And Courtney, you talked earlier about, moving from trial to conversion. I love the heart-shaped sunglasses. Imagine Snapchat.
Me too. I don't see you wearing them though.
I wish I could augmented reality them onto my face right now. I would imagine Snapchatters are going to want to try a bevy of different fun shapes and sizes. What are your thoughts on our new True Size technology?
Very excited for it. Like I mentioned in the very beginning, fit is a huge part of people being happy with our products, and it's sitting right on your face. It's very present. It's one of the first things that someone notices about you, and it really can show an extension of your style of what that might look like. So because we have so many different product offerings, we have 3,000 SKUs on our site, and we continue building and innovating, this new technology is really going to allow our customers to have an even better experience, which we're always focused on being very customer centric, and hopefully allow them to see how it fits almost like you would in real life. And that's ultimately what the goal is, right? Is, if you can't be in a storefront physically showing somebody a product and having them try it on, the next best thing is having it fit just the same way and being able to do it from the comfort of your couch or your home or at your friend's house while you're socializing, engaging, and having a great time. So we really believe that it's going to help build confidence in purchases, and especially purchases maybe outside of your typical first pair purchase where that might be a little bit more conservative. We see when people buy multiple pair, they like to branch out a little bit. And when you branch out, there's always that hesitation of, is it going to look good on me? How's it going to fit? Am I going to like it? So for us, being able to emphasize more our oversized glasses, our uniquely shaped frames, like the heart glasses that you were talking about, that's going to be huge for us, because then it's going to also allow people to test the boundaries a little bit with their style, and hopefully continue to love our products and love having it be a direct extension of something that they're wearing or doing, even their Estee Lauder makeup, for instance, that they can highlight with their glasses. So it's the sky's the limit, and we're so excited for it.
That's great.
I think, Luke, just to build on what Courtney said, there is an opportunity in the digital sphere around giving confidence around size and fit. So it's not just sunglasses or glasses, it's clothing, it's trainers, it's fine jewelry, it's a whole repertoire of different product and categories. And I think we've found that not just through AR, but we're running a test at the moment where you can basically try things on with images of yourself and your own body shape. We've got another test running where model sizes can be changed, skin color tone can be changed. And what we find is that it not only drives higher levels of conversion, but we see a better translation from GTV to GMV, which for us means we also see a lower level of returns. So when people have that confidence in the purchase, they don't get the sort of cognitive dissonance where it's completely the wrong size or the flow of the fabric doesn't suit them. And so we're actually seeing a very, very significant commercial benefit, which is lower returns rates as well.
Yeah, I love that, Gareth. And speaking of that, I love the off-white jacket that we saw during the larger presentation. I think allowing that variability and the fact that it also ties into business results and returns is fascinating. And thinking about everything we've heard from you and everything we've been hearing from partners, we know it's critical to connect the ability to provide more seamless shopping capabilities in Snapchat. And today we answered how do you think the ability to not only directly shop from public profiles but measure engagement via our AR shopping analytics can accelerate future product decisions? I'll throw it over to you, to Damon, to kick it off.
I think the ability to shop directly adds, to the seamless engagement piece that we talked about earlier. I think for the analytics, I think that's going to go a long way in helping support decisions on products, but also understanding what the consumer is interested in. It will help support engagement decisions on creative optimization, tailored messaging, consumer journey mapping, and insights around future product innovations, and probably even more importantly, allow us to react quickly in real time to the things that we see that are, really picking up momentum that are right for our brands.
Yeah, Gareth, why don't you chime in?
I think anything that's going to give us more granularity in terms of performance, is a good thing. And the more we can understand efficacy and impact, Luke, probably the more we'll start spending with you. So there's a very sort of simple equation on this one. But I suppose what we are increasingly thinking of is this equation is not a zero-sum game. So it's not online or offline. It's increasingly going to be a combination of both. And we want the digital experience to feel a little more physical and to have more visceral connection. And then what we want is the physical bricks and mortar experience to have the sort of operating system of online around identification and personalization. So when you've got a luxury customer that's spending a lot of money on clothing, you would expect as they walk into a store to be recognized, to be acknowledged, for maybe their shopping history, their wish list to be in the store. And Josie, our CEO, talks about planning now for the shopping experience in 5 years' time. And the future's unevenly distributed, but it's here today. And I suppose we always talk about jumping on a plane and going to Beijing and Shanghai, because the future is sort of already there. And so Alibaba and Farfetch, we both now call it luxury new retail, which is that sort of coalescence of online and offline.
That's great. I appreciate you sharing that. And, in closing, over the course of the conversation and in all the data that we see, it's clear that there's a foundation for augmented reality to be a full funnel partner in decisions and most importantly, drive business outcomes. We all lived through the year of mobile for 10 or 15 years. It felt like it was always coming, and now it is a reality that exists in everybody's pocket and the most time spent. To close things out, is 2021 finally the year of AR? Why or why not? Gareth, would you kick us off on this?
So I do. I'm just going to conclude by saying if you go to the Browns Fashion iOS app today, we've got front and center, we've got virtual try-on, and we've got virtual try-on for some unbelievably lovely watches. And there's one on there by Audemars Piguet, which is a pre-owned Royal Oak, and it's £60,000. And we have sold watches at that price point with no physical engagement with the product through virtual try-on. So, so it works for Damon, it works for Courtney, but it will also work for 40, 50, 60,000 pound products. And that's simply because the quality of that AR and that activation is really, really good now, like it's never been before. My goal, knowing how much the Snap share price has climbed over the last 2 years, is to get Fintan and Ed and Claire, maybe not a £60,000 watch, but maybe an £18,000 Rolex bought through Browns on VTO.
I love that goal. And I don't want to speak for them, but I feel like one of them should step up. Courtney, what are your thoughts on, is 2021 the year of AR?
Yeah, I mean, I would say really the world is catapulted into relying on technology in new ways to adjust to user behavior and accommodate life in a global pandemic, something none of us could have ever predicted previously. And so, yes, I believe the answer is yes, because I think it's critical for brands to enhance the buying experience, and AR lends itself to just that. So I believe it can be the time.
Wonderful. Damon, bring us home. Your thoughts?
Luke, I think the answer is absolutely yes. I'll keep mine short and sweet. I think the technology is here. The platform has the scale. The tests have proven the results. And most importantly, the consumer is leaning in and wants it.
What a great place to end. I can't thank you all enough for your time, for your partnership, and for hopefully allowing all the viewers to get a little bit more insight that the future is actually here today. And a lot of it is happening through AR shopping. So thank you all for being on the panel. Thank everyone for joining today. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.